What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Dave Knows Wrestling live stream. I'm your host, David Lee.
And I'm Albert Albanese.
And doing this new setup again, so I just have to make one quick adjustment, and here we go. All right, so let's click on, see who is here right now. I just have to make one quick adjustment. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Gotta mute that, or else we're gonna hear it on double. Okay, JV, Vinny Montana, what is up? Oh, Jeff Jarrett going for the Slapnuts reference.
Yeah, really.
I like it. Stick my keys in my pocket. All right, so what is going on, Degenerate? Yo, I figure that's what you mean. Arthur, your buddy's on. Your doppelganger's on. It's amazing. It looks so good on this screen.
It does. I don't know why it doesn't. It looks great here on the screen.
Yeah.
We look really, really nice up there.
Keep talking while I adjust certain things, because it's gonna throw me off. So I'm gonna.
So Dave's adjusting. This is a little bit different. This is a different. To save you from a dead shift. Hey, listen. That's what we're here for.
What shift? Yeah. What do you do?
I'm assuming it's something to do with work, but.
Well, yeah.
I don't know what that work may be.
Does that entail?
So this is a different setup, like Dave said. We're not going to be able to watch Raw this week. We're not going to have it on the screen, so I can't really comment.
We're not going to be able to watch it right now. Let's clarify. I'm sure we will eventually watch it. Or you might eventually watch it.
Oh, no, I'll watch it when I get home.
I probably will.
You might not ever watch it at all.
Or again. Depends on how License List looks.
And again, or ever again.
I know. It is getting better. There are improvements.
It is. So I'm not the biggest fan of the dude on your shirt, Albert. Well, Arthur, I'm actually a huge Cody fan. But hey, it is what it is. I'm not a fan of all the people who think that AEW is going to put WWE out of business. But
I think it's a weird claim that a lot of people are saying.
Yeah, and it's a lot.
Yeah. It's typical. I think it's typical wrestling community. It is a vocal minority. That's all it is.
Maybe. Vinny, that's awesome. 5th row at Raw next week.
And the interesting thing is, I think for all those internet fans out there who talk about this, we know that there are people who will say that competition drives up business. It makes both parties do well, remembering the boom period. But then there are also people who say, oh, they're going to put WWE out of business. It's like, you got to realize it's not going to... So it's pretty funny.
So here's my big thing. We shouldn't want the WWE to go out of business. We should want just a better product from the WWE. So, that's what we really should be rooting for here, guys. We shouldn't be hoping that AEW puts the WWE out of business. But, it is what it is. Let's see, what do we got here? Patriots for XFL champions. Yeah, I think that the Patriots backups can probably beat any starters in the XFL, but that remains to be seen. That's just one of the people that we know in the background. Will Vince sign Brady? I can't see Vince not signing Gronk. That might happen. Vinny Montana, I like the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie better than all the rest. AWA should have won and Hogan should have been champion. Well, Hogan left the WWE, so... Vince was smart. Harry, what new action figure did you get? Because there's a lot out. I'm actually going back and collecting a lot of older figures. I just got a... Classic Superstars 1-2-3 Kid, a Classic Superstars Yokozuna, which is coming in the mail. I went back and got a bunch of Stomp figures, Brian Pillman, Crush, Undertaker, a whole bunch of things. WWE deserves to go out of business for killing the NWA. WWE didn't kill the NWA. I don't know where that claim comes from, because the NWA was still, working and was still in business for a while, even after the WWE started. Kalisto, that's a good one. I have a basic Kalisto. Vinny Montana, you asked if Dean Ambrose is leaving WWE as a work. I think so. And that's just my opinion, but I think so. When have we ever seen? I think Albert is getting more over with the fans. Thank you, Mark. When have we ever?
Ironically, it's a Mark telling you that. That's a you are a Mark. I mean, like a Mark is.
That really is ironic.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I don't know. Like I said, I love that situations like these spark people to really, really say one of two things. It's either it's definitely a work, and if you think it's not, then you're just a mark. Or people say, it is not a work, and if you think it is, then you're a mark. It's like everybody acts like they know for a fact. No one knows. I'll wait and see. And I'll admit that I don't know.
Do you have an opinion either way?
I do think it's very suspicious that they told you right away.
I see. That's my big thing.
But personally, I think it's almost like a leverage tool. Like, if it is not a work, I do think them putting pressure and exposing Dean this way isn't that bad. But I'm also the kind of guy that thinks that WWE let Kurt Angle go to TNA to try and drive up competition. I've had my, and not in the Russo conspiracy thing, like, oh, they sent there to ruin the company. Because I don't think WWE sent Brett or Russo to ruin WCW.
No, absolutely not.
But I think Kurt Angle, they kind of let him go just so to try and help TNA. You know, they didn't have anything to do with it. You know, they could have fought a little harder, but they chose not to. So.
Tim, see, all right, here's the big thing that I don't understand. The NWA was where the WWE stole their stars and ruined the heart of the wrestling business. No. I hate the term "stole their stars." To me, that's a BS term, and that goes for WCW and WWE stealing each other's stars. No, wrestlers signed with a company they felt they can make the most money with and do the best business with. That's not stealing people. They didn't walk up to them and say, "Walk out of this company right now," and give the guys the finger on the way out. No, what really happened?
No, that would be Bischoff.
Bischoff didn't steal anybody either. Those guys wanted to come to the WWE. Went to the WCW.
When you ruin handshake deals, like, I understand to your point, you gave someone a more tempting offer. But remember, handshake deals used to mean something. They don't anymore in today's society. But there was a time where a lot of these guys, ECW and NWA, old school people, had handshake deals, and that meant something. And those, fine, there's no paper contract, but still, that was a promise saying that I will stay with your company until this. And in terms of Mike Awesome, for sure, you had the title. Yeah, and then you're leaving, violating your deal. Now, sure, you could say that deal doesn't mean anything, but it used to, is the point. That's a breach of some kind.
Agreed.
And it's not like WWE doesn't do shady things with New Japan's contract structures, knowing when they can and cannot be approached about negotiations, but they choose to do it anyway.
I'm not disagreeing with that. My thing about you said it was Bischoff. That wasn't Bischoff. It was Mike Awesome. Mike Awesome was, look, and look, this goes nothing to do with Mike Awesome as a wrestler, because I loved Mike Awesome as a wrestler. But I'm an ECW, I'm a flag waver. You want to call me a mark for anything? It's old school ECW, and I have to throw old school in there because they might think it's WWE ECW.
No one should ever think that ever.
Yeah, I know. Although I didn't hate that, but I just wish I would have called it something different. I think we've had this discussion before. But my thing is that Mike Awesome, was kind of a dick.
Yeah.
To do what he did.
Yeah, and I think so too. But in terms I do want to catch something. Hey, Joshua, sorry, I'm catching up on all the hellos. But Ben Espinosa does bring up something. He said that someone. I like that it's a GameSpot writer, but a GameSpot writer. GameSpot writer?
Yes.
Sorry. The screen's further away, so it's not as easy to read as it was.
Yeah.
Wrote that the Attitude Era was the worst era in WWE history. Now, that is an interesting subject. I personally don't think that.
No.
But I can see why you would say that. I've mentioned this before. I had a lot of friends, and I know this is not specifically what you're asking, but I have a lot of friends who were old school Jim Crockett, NWA, early WCW fans, that when they did the boom period with the NWO and all that, they didn't like that. They didn't like what that did for wrestling. They thought that was not the best idea. They didn't think that was the best.
I had
to. See, Harry and for those of you caught it, Harry and Albert working together. But yeah, they didn't like that kind of thing. And same thing with Attitude Era. You would make the argument that there was a lot of garbage TV, that Crash TV kind of thing, happening on the Attitude Era that not everybody was a fan of. I get it. I get that's not wrestling. And you want to say that's worse in terms of a purist wrestling standpoint? I can understand that. I'm not that strict. I don't feel that way. It was entertainment to me, and I need a mix of both. So for me, I would not say it's the worst period ever. No, but
here's the funny thing. I like how Martin, he specifically hit his face on the way back, but on the way in, yeah, that was fun.
Because no one figures out no one figures it out until after they pass through.
I guess so.
But he's been on this channel before, like when he's walked in to tell me things.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Hey, I need you to work on Friday. Are you recording? Yeah. Oh, and then he leaves.
So here's my big thing. I think it's funny that people that are wrestling fans now either A, were birthed. I'm on the Discord channel. I just haven't been active that much because I've been very busy with work.
Hey, okay.
And thank you for that, Penny. I like how there are wrestling fans who were birthed in the Attitude Era, where we got a lot of, not that much of wrestling, but we got a lot of great entertaining television. But now everything's about, well, we need to have more wrestling, and that's what the show should be centered about. Like, there's been an evolution in the wrestling fan from that time until now. And, I really think that a good mixture of both is what we need. I don't need a 5-star classic for every match, because then every match is going to become boring, because it's going to just be, and look, this is what I don't like about current wrestling. I've said this before. I hate no selling. I hate, every match being, finisher fests at the end.
Yeah.
I hate just the big clusters in the middle of people getting hit with a big move, half out on their feet, and then recovering 3 seconds later, hitting a big move, and then that person, goes down and then recovers, and then boom, 3 seconds later, another big. I don't like that.
Right.
It was entertaining when it first happened. It's not entertaining when it happens in every match.
Yeah,
I
completely agree with that.
I like characters. You know why the Attitude Era was fun? Because the Attitude Era had D'Lo Brown and Val Venus and, characters.
People who understood their place on the card.
Not only that, but also people that understood that you can be a character and still be successful. Because Jeff Jarrett, you can say, wasn't anywhere near as over as Val Venus, but of course Jeff Jarrett was the better worker than Val Venus was. And that's what we're getting to now. Just because you're a great worker doesn't mean that you have to be pushed to the top of the card. Yes, do AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke Nakamura deserve their top spots? Sure. But that doesn't mean that everybody who comes over from New Japan deserves to be a main eventer in the WWE.
No, but there are definitely guys who deserve to be main eventers.
Sure.
That's my issue with it.
Okay, for example.
Nakamura.
Fair enough, he main evented a WrestleMania, though.
No, he didn't.
Okay, he semi-main evented WrestleMania.
There is a main event. There is no semi-main event, no double main event. There is one last match of the night. That's it.
Mark, what do you mean? Can you explain that a little bit more? The modern day Royal Rumble breaking the rules of the match.
Yeah, I would like to know what you mean.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Javier, that was a too sweet time. I just realized what the delay is really late doing it this way for whatever reason.
Cylord, Jeff Jarrett was not popular in the Attitude Era.
No,
Deborah was popular in the Attitude Era. I've been on a kick of watching all the Royal Rumbles. Jarrett came out in '99 with Deborah. Man, there was a huge pop, and then Deborah went back, and then nobody cared about Jeff Jarrett anymore.
Matty Action! What is up, Matty Action? So I wouldn't say Jarrett was popular. Sadly, I think in the Attitude Era, because if we're talking about the Attitude Era, then that means we're talking about WWF and not WCW.
Get the F out.
Right, but WWF, I'm working through like a headache, and I know Albert's pretty tired. Like, we're having a weird off day today.
Sorry about that.
So if we're not making a lot of sense, I'm going to explain right now. But what I was trying to say is that with Jeff Jarrett, so we're talking about the Attitude Era, specifically meaning just this WWF portion of the late 90s. Unfortunately, I got to say, I think the biggest boom to his career at the time had to be after Owen passed.
Yeah, the Intercontinental title run.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what did it. But I would say that would be the most popular. So I wouldn't even put that on him. But unfortunately, that's something that happened.
Yeah.
Imagine Nikki Bella in the Attitude Era.
I mean, we see a lot more of Nikki Bella.
Harry, think about it this way. Think of how much older she would be now. So if you're still down, I'm just letting you know. I know you're on the younger side. So.
An NXT girl diving off the top rope onto people and letting her go back, and I think they meant. I don't remember that.
You mean going to the top rope, diving on the outside, and then going back in. Well, just so you know, this is not new, because Macho Man did it in the 1992 Royal Rumble.
To Jake the Snake Roberts.
So,
yes.
It's not new. They've done it before. However, Mil Maxis did eliminate himself.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So, it's going back and forth. So, sometimes that rule counts, and sometimes it doesn't. They pick and choose.
I agree. Hey, Dave, if Shane Douglas throwing down the NWA title in 1994 didn't happen, ECW would be relegated to an independent wrestling promotion instead of this hardcore wrestling promotion. Maybe. I mean, there's not really I mean, it's not really much of anything to.
Yeah, I was going to say, Manny, actually, that is a very good point. But yes, Hardcore Holly, I have heard stories. But go back. Let me see that again.
I'm sorry.
Espinel, that's cool. Hey, Dave, if Shane Duggan thrown down didn't have an ECW would have been independent promotion instead of this. I don't necessarily know what you mean by that, if that's necessarily true. I mean, I get it that was the big kickoff, and that was a great grandstanding way to bring in this new company. However, maybe, and again, hardcore means hardcore dedicated to fans. It does not mean using weapons. That's extreme.
Right.
I would love it if I could get that into the public consciousness. I don't think I will because I've been trying, but
same here.
But anyway, maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. But it's an interesting thought. Like, how much would it change because they were going to break away for sure. Heyman and Todd Gordon were definitely not going to just stay under the NWA.
Yeah, definitely not. Especially Heyman.
Right. Gentlemen, did either of you watch Halftime Heat yet? I wanted to, and then I didn't because I was actually here all night working on stuff because I'm still rebounding from my football vacation from 2 weeks ago.
So I actually watched the game, and my girlfriend got there at halftime, and she wanted to watch the halftime show. So,
well,
no,
of course, that's who wants to watch Maroon 5.
Exactly.
That and Tristan for some reason.
And even she wasn't even a big fan. So,
Jeff Jarrett versus Elias a good feud? No, I don't think so.
I mean, it'll work for right now, but I mean,
it's not going to help. Elias is in need of a real victory. He's in need of a real feud. He's in need of some real gas.
And we're not talking about. We're not just specifically talking about beating a legend. He doesn't need to. He needs to have a real win over somebody who's actually...
Because they turned him face again.
Yeah.
Elias versus Jeff Jarrett. Mike, what are your thoughts? And I just realized I only have 2 chairs. Oh, they can't say that. But
I got to go back in there.
All right.
No.
I realized I only have 2 chairs.
You...
Look how good the camera looks up here, though.
Does it look good, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that.
It's better than mine.
Just saying. It looks great. I mean, this camera is so much better than I actually thought.
So yeah, Jeff Jarrett and Elias.
With my bald head.
I do. I don't care about Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, fair enough.
My thing is, Elias needs to get something other than a celebrity. Like one. I'm trying to think of a feud he's had on the main roster. I know he's had them, but I don't remember any.
Corbin, Cena.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all right.
Strowman.
I have no memory of that.
When Strowman had the big stand-up bass and cracked over.
Oh yeah.
That I think that's as far as I remember. I'm sure he had other ones that I can't really remember.
That's the thing. He hasn't had a memorable feud.
No.
Like, ever. I mean, Cena's probably the one I remember the most.
Aaron K. The answer to that is no.
No. Lashley, no. I remember it. But when I say memorable, I mean positively remember.
Oh, that's right, Lashley.
I mean, things I care about. Things that was good. Because Lashley has not, in his entire WWE run, ever had a feud that I thought was memorable in a good way. Like, yeah, I know about the Vince McMahon one, but not because it was good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not why I remember it.
Finley. I remember he had a feud with him and Booker T.
But are these good?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No, because
I think Elias
Lashley was
is now just a sideshow, man. He's the They're not going to give him anything. He's going to get interrupted every time he's out there. That's how it's going to go.
Yeah, I still can't believe they turned bad again.
I know. He is? Yeah. He was rolled as a face. I don't understand why.
I don't think he was.
Is he? I don't know. I don't know if I call him that. All right. Back to work.
See him, buddy. If Elias's team with Jeff Jarrett, AA, the catchphrase would be, "Who wants to slap nuts?"
I mean, it could be.
Is every wrestler better than every other way? Yeah. Yeah, for example, Sean Stasiak is a better wrestler with the name of Sean. He's a Stasiak.
So?
A Stasiak.
So?
Stasiak is, beat Pedro Morales.
Greg was a Gagne.
Yeah. So, you see what I'm getting at.
That doesn't mean either of them were good in the ring.
Yeah, and also David Sammartino.
Eric Watts.
David Sammartino.
David Sammartino. Eric Watts, too, though. I mean,
yeah, there you
come
go.
on.
Sean Stacey. Well,
Garrett Bischoff.
okay, fine. I'll stop the joking. I'll stop the joking, and I'll get him for real. Sean Stacey was a natural born thriller.
Fair enough.
I knew I'd get you with that.
But the worst one at that.
Whatever, I'll take it. That's like saying the worst Olympian. It's so good.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, David was. Yeah, there you go, David Flair.
Oh, David Flair. That's another good one.
Well, he goes on my Buddy Murphy, Billy Kidman list. I know it was a work. I don't care. He still goes on the list. I don't care. He got to kiss Tori Wilson. That was real. Even if the angle was a work, he goes on the list. Goes on the list.
I don't know what to say to you, Dave.
Goes on the list.
Fine. You can
like
Chris Jericho.
Like I'm not
Dave Jericho.
I'm not the biggest like I like Carmella. She's fine and all, but Ellsworth kissing her, no business. No business kissing that woman.
No, I agree. I love Carmella.
I like her.
She's just gaining speed and
I like her.
climbing up the ladder for me, and every time.
John Stallman. Eric Watts, it's a prime example of nepotism. I thought Triple H was.
I mean,
I understand he's not blood related, but nobody has gotten that much power in that big a company other than Triple H. He is the pinnacle example. Who would you rather have relations with, Stephanie McMahon or Becky Lynch all day?
Oh yeah.
It's not even a question.
Yeah, I'm there.
Is Khali WWE better than Shawn Michaels? Oh, absolutely, because at least he's big. Oh, and he caters to the foreign market because that strategy's guaranteed to work.
He has no cardio.
That's true. But WWE financially more successful when he had the belt than when Shawn Michaels did.
There were 2 world champions at the time.
He was one of them.
I hate you.
Look, I actually like DiBiase Jr., right?
Yeah, I thought he was underrated.
Yeah. Thoughts on PCO?
Pierre Carl.
Oh, none?
He's tearing. I mean, the guy out of nowhere is tearing it up on the indie scene. Like I don't get it. He was a Quebecer, and now all of a sudden he's like an indie god. I don't know where it came from, but yeah, it's a big deal.
Ahmed Johnson is definitely better than Shawn Michaels. Whoa, there's not even a question. Why are you even asking? Are you serious?
At least Shawn put people over.
Ahmed Johnson kissed a dude, all right?
So?
To get the Goldust gimmick over.
So?
It's sacrificing for his art because he didn't want to do it.
He wouldn't put anybody over.
Ahmed?
Yes.
Why should he have? And wait a minute, hold on. Wait, let's back to Australia. You slipped this one, bud. Shawn put people over? When did that happen? Please.
And when he found God. Then he put over a lot of people.
No. Who? Yeah. Yeah, we've gone over this conversation before, but, as I say, putting someone over doesn't mean just losing to them. It means losing to you puts them in a better place, raises them to that next level. Like, I don't count on putting over Austin because Austin was as over could get. Giving him the belt, which he had to do under duress from The Undertaker, didn't put Austin over. We're talking about a qualitative win that now this person's career is better off before this match than after. A significant win. And, I said the same thing with Hogan.
Carlito. Then his push got shelved. But he was in a better position after he beat Shawn Michaels.
Oh, so it's contingent now. See, I don't think so. My thing is, I don't think a career win over Shawn Michaels really means anything.
Orton. That's a good one.
Orton in 2003? No, I'm sorry. Benoit with the belt, I'll give you. That was been over. But Orton was not put any more over than Shawn Michaels. And my other question is, how many people care about that match? You'd slip your mind. Who cares? That's my thing. It doesn't change anything.
I'm thinking right now,
but
I'm tired.
It's okay, buddy. But I'm just saying, no one cares about these feuds. All these, it's the same thing with Ric Flair. Ric Flair wrestled Rob Van Dam. Who remembers that match or cares? And I like both Rob Van Dam and Ric Flair. I'm not knocking them, but I'm pointing out it's a nothing match. It's a garbage feud. A win meant nothing at that point. Old man Shawn Michaels, beating him meant nothing. Same thing with Ric Flair. And again, I'm not being biased here. I'm proving I like Ric Flair. When Maven went against Ric Flair, does anyone care about that? Did that mean anything to anyone other than Maven?
Top 5 matches of all time in my book, to be honest.
Yeah, that's right.
What about Mankind?
And Kurt Angle. See, that's the thing. John Cena was already established and over. That main event at Mania didn't put John Cena any more over. If anything, you look at John Cena's career after that, and he got more boos. If anything, it hurt. Kurt Angle, you might be able to get me on. I don't 100% agree because I think Angle was pretty much over. But that match, just the 21 match with Angle, you might say put him in that higher context, but. Then they took it away by having Shawn Michaels take the win right back. That's my other problem with it.
What about Jericho?
The other thing about Jericho. Jericho was already... we had this conversation, me and Steve. He was an undisputed champion already. He beat Stone Cold and The Rock on the same night. And you want to say that, oh, well, he also beat Shawn Michaels. That put him to a higher stratosphere. He beat Austin and The Rock in the same night. Are you really going to tell me that the Shawn Michaels went, no, back on the next level, but Austin and The Rock can be the first undisputed champion? No, that didn't do as much for his career as Shawn Michaels. I mean, really?
Absolutely not. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's insanity to me. It's like, in the same night, I was like, I don't know what else. Because if you beat Austin and The Rock and become the first undisputed champion, yeah, you're supposed to beat Shawn Michaels.
I guess.
Jeff Hardy, again, I don't see it. I don't think Jeff Hardy is any more over or anything after that. Yeah, exactly. Super Ermac, yeah, Rob Van Dam, that's my point. Most of these matches are garbage matches. If you want to talk about Shawn's later half in his career where he allegedly became a good person, allegedly, which hurricane questions. But if you want to talk about those later matches, what are the matches that people talk about for Shawn Michaels? Undertaker, for sure. Both Undertaker matches. If we want to count the Kurt Angle, yeah, Kurt Angle.
Jericho, Flair.
Yeah, so these are your These are your prime matches. These are your prime matches for this time period. Okay, and in each of these cases, they weren't. I don't think these guys. You can make the arguments for some, and I'm even willing to bend on a few of these. Definitely not the Undertaker, but did he put them over? Did he put any of these guys over? Were they in a better spot than they were at the time? I say no. What?
Sid.
What about him?
Definitely put him. He wasn't even like he was like.
Oh, so we're gonna forget WCW. Oh, so we're gonna forget WCW now.
WCW didn't count at that point. And if you want to get technical, did he not win his first world title in WWE? Didn't he win the WCW title when he went back to WCW after that WWF run?
So let me ask you.
Him winning his first world title from Shawn put him in a better spot. He was a main eventer from that point on.
He stayed at the exact same main event level that he always was. And how did he beat Shawn? And let's talk about that. How did that match with Shawn Michaels go down?
He hit Jose Lothario and Shawn Michaels with a camera and powerbombed him.
Keep going. Well, tell me more of the circumstances around this area, around this whole time period.
Okay, so, well, then I could have said that would have been Vader's biggest win in WWE if he wasn't supposed to be in that match. Yes, I get that. It wasn't supposed to be Sid. Doesn't make a difference. John Morrison wasn't supposed to be the ECW champion. Doesn't that give him the most? Wasn't it his biggest win in his career? Give me a bigger win.
The TNA title right now? I don't know.
What? Oh, really?
Yes.
That's higher
than the fake ECW garbage belt. Yes.
I think more people watch that match than anybody's watched any of his TNA matches.
Oh my goodness. You don't think so? Wait, hold on. So you're telling me this fabricated fake ECW title means more than the Impact TNA Championship? That's what I'm asking you.
Right now?
No. Period. Which is a more prestigious title? No.
I'd rather win the 205 Live title than I would the TNA title. I'm sorry. Impact for me is done. I tried my ass off for years. I put Impact over more than anybody else for a long time, and I stopped watching it. Me, who is still
bad right now. It's pretty good. That's the thing
I tried.
You picked the weirdest time to bail on.
No, I tried, Dave.
When they were filming in New York, our hometown, that was the worst period, I think.
And I tried.
That was awful.
I tried it again, and it was terrible.
Dude, it's pretty good right now.
I can't get into it. I can't do it.
My thing is, but even so, I understand that the TNA title is at a low point.
I feel like it always was.
The fake ECW is the worst garbage belt ever to call itself a world title, in my opinion. The real ECW belt's great. The fake one is the biggest garbage belt I've ever seen. That belt means nothing to me. It is.
It's still
no.
Do you think that without winning that title, Johnny Impact would be the Impact champion right now?
Absolutely. Are you crazy?
That's
not even a question.
I don't. I think that the ECW tag, when he was in the tag champions with The Miz, and his ECW world title run were the two biggest proponents in him getting to a higher part of the WWE card, which then propelled him to go to other places and show off his talent.
I'll put it this way. Austin Aries, did he ever have to win the fake ECW belt? No, and he got the belt. Pentagon Jr., same thing. Did he ever need to win that or get the belt?
No, but Pentagon was over in a bunch of other promotions before that. Morrison came from the WWE. Aries, again, Aries was over in Ring of Honor before he went to TNA. Morrison was over in the WWE. Why? Because he was a singles world champion at one point.
I disagree with that. I think Morrison, and especially in TNA's current point right now, like let's say Morrison isn't there. Who else would they put the belt on? Like he's a name, and not because he won that fake ECW belt. Morrison is a name just because he was in the WWE. The belt meant nothing. I personally think he would have gotten the belt either. I think he would have the belt right now if he never won that belt. That ECW belt.
That's
because of the lack of options on TNA's part.
Exactly. But I'll give you that, but that's only because of lack of options.
What's up, Frenchman?
I mean, Eli Drake.
You don't like Eli Drake?
No, I'm saying I think I'd have the title on him if Morrison wasn't there.
I mean, it was with the Starship paint, and plus a lot of his Royal Rumble spots and all that. He is highly athletic. He is well respected. I think he gets it anyway. I mean, I'll give you that. Because here's my question. Without current anything in TNA, you're telling me Pentagon, without anything in the past 2 years, you're telling me Pentagon Jr. has more of a name than John Morrison had before he won the belt?
I'm not saying that. I won't disagree with that. That's yeah.
Well,
no, I'll give you that 100%. But is Pentagon Jr. the hotter name right now? I think so.
I think it was. I think TNA booking ruined that.
I think TNA
I don't know why they stuck him back in the tag team. It's just so stupid.
Well, I think him and Phoenix wanted it.
I don't care.
They just signed AEW together.
Care.
And you saw who won the MLW tag titles now, though, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. And it's your boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My point is, look, with the Austin Aries situation, I'm not going to even bother speculating. I don't know what happened. I don't know who's right. I don't know who's wrong. I'm not getting into it. But now, especially with that feud being as hot as
Brian
it was,
Cage, good call.
With that feud being as hot as it was, and Austin Aries, bye-bye, apparently, how do you not make Pentagon? How do you not put the focus back on Pentagon? I'm not saying he's got to take it off of Johnny or have.
No, he should have been. He should have been the next challenger.
He should be in the. But he should be going for it. But he doesn't have to take it. But he should be going for it.
Yeah, and I don't understand this obsession with Moose and Killer Cross and all this stuff that they're trying to do. I don't.
Moose, I get. Moose is okay. Moose, they spent a lot of money on him. They should at least get the money's worth.
I'm not going to disagree with that. I'll give you that. But
I'm just saying that Pentagon Jr. should consistently be in the main event, or at least hovering around it, instead of being on tag team. I don't care if he wants to be or not. That's what I'm saying. Pentagon is very good, and that's the thing. It's just the only way to start salvaging, because you had two guys, you picked your horse, clearly it was Austin Aries, now you realize you picked wrong, you go back the other way. It's a Hogan Warrior rule. Easy, easy, easy. Should I have found a different example?
No, that's fine. I hate them both, no matter what. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Didn't John Morrison win the U.S. Championship? Yes, he.
He is Intercontinental Champion too. I still think that the ECW title meant more than both of those.
I think that's crazy talk. No way, absolutely. The real ECW title is one thing, but the WWF Intercontinental Championship has always meant more than that fake ECW belt.
And this is the reason why. It's not about the belt. It's about what happened. They built the brand around John Morrison as a champion. And whether it's a third brand or not, they still built that. They still built an entire brand out of John Morrison being champion.
Okay, well, so by your rationale, the NXT title means more than the Intercontinental Championship. By your rationale.
As of right now, yeah, I think it does.
Sorry, I don't agree. And I love NXT.
Especially now with who's holding the Intercontinental title.
Well, that's fine. I understand your point there. I'm not a Lashley dude, but my point is, it's a developmental championship.
Okay,
that's like saying the OVW Heavyweight Championship or the Florida Championship Wrestling Championship meant more than the Intercontinental belt.
They weren't on as big of a stage as they are.
No,
as NXT is now.
But here's my point. It's the same. It's saying the same thing. Would you count the MLW title as being more than the WWF Intercontinental Championship? WWE Intercontinental Championship?
No.
Okay. Because I'm trying to find a line here.
No.
So, my thing is...
Here's my thing. Consistently, what matches are people talking about more? Are they talking about the NXT Championship matches at takeovers, or are they talking about any Intercontinental title match except for the one match that sold WrestleMania?
Okay, so what about the fake ECW pay-per-view matches, the pay-per-view title matches that they have? Oh, that's right.
I think Punk and Morrison were way more over than. I think Punk and Morrison were way more over in their title matches than they were with. I mean, I had to go back to see who was the Intercontinental Champion at the time. I don't remember. I don't want to make that statement and be completely wrong because there is a very good chance.
No, I'm specifically talking about TakeOver for pay-per-view, about the fake ECW exclusive pay-per-views. I'm talking about those matches.
There's only one.
I know that. That's my point. That's exactly my point. It couldn't even survive on a pay-per-view on its own.
That was the worst booked pay-per-vieiew and nothing was plugged.
Oh, I understand.
And it was destined to fail.
Either way, takeovers have more than that. I mean, are you trying to say NXT and fake ECW are on par with each other in terms of prestige?
Kind of, yeah.
Guys, back me up here. Am I the only one here who does?
They're both the legitimate WWE third brand.
Define legitimate. That's what I'm struggling with.
Regardless, that's how they were produced. Look, here's the thing.
Sorry, Harry Flynn. Okay, Intercontinental title. I apologize.
I thought so. I wanted to say that, but I didn't. That's what I'm saying. The Intercontinental title doesn't mean anything right now. It hasn't for a while.
I'm not.
The Intercontinental title was my favorite championship when I was growing up.
I'm not disputing that the IC title means a lot less now than it used to. I cannot stress that enough. I've complained about it on multiple occasions. But as low as it is, fake ECW title is lower. That's my point.
Look,
here's my thing. The reason why I bring up the pay-per-view is that WWE ECW is known notoriously as one of the biggest failures there ever was. Holding it is not a boom. It's like saying you won. Let's throw it back. It's like saying, well, my team won the $1 million game in the XFL. It's like, and
got some people some jobs though.
I don't know anything. You can tell me anything right now. Were any of the guys on that team the guys who made it to the NFL?
I believe so.
Because I don't know.
Yeah, see, I acknowledge you, not Dave.
Who?
Just throwing that out there.
Who? Who am I? Who's complaining?
No.
Oh, what's up? What's up, Woos?
There you go.
Okay, over. $1 million title, Great Impact.
No, I don't know. No. One of them was held by Virgil.
Oh, the $1 million title. I thought he was talking about that $1 million game for the XFL. Yes, the $1 million title is better than Impact. Absolutely. And Steve Austin.
One of them was held by Virgil.
I don't care. If you told me at this point, if you told me Virgil won the TNA title right now, I wouldn't be surprised.
You just defended TNA for the longest time.
What's
and now you said that?
No, see, because you're missing it. I'm not trying to say that the TNA title is at a high level now. I'm not trying to say the Intercontinental title hasn't fallen off. I'm just saying as low as they've dropped, the ECW WWE belt is still worse.
I know you have a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, here's my thing. Real ECW fans should.
And look, after a while, I realized where it was going, and I made the decision to I can either A, support just the fact that these guys were getting a shot on TV. Some of these guys were making their debuts, and these guys could wind up being something in WWE.
Sure.
Or I could just trash it and just be like, oh, it can go to hell. I chose to stick around with it. My thing is that if they would have put any other name other than those 3 letters on it, that show would not have been as bad.
It wouldn't have been as hated, but it still wouldn't have been any better. The quality of it wouldn't be better. They had their ups and downs, but they didn't push Punk like they should have. Because Punk should have been the centerpiece of that brand.
I completely agree.
And they did it.
And they were going to, and that's what Heyman wanted to do, and they wouldn't let Heyman run the...
And I understand that. I understand that. But here's my thing. Like, the zombie thing is stupid, okay? Period.
Yes, that was dumb.
Yeah, so let's not pretend like there aren't a lot of bad things there. And the pay-per-view itself. Yes, you give me the reasons why it was bad. But I'm just saying it's bad. Yeah, I know there are reasons why. I'm not trying to say there was.
The thing is, it's hard to judge something that was destined to fail. It's hard.
But that's further. That's further my point. It's destined to fail. You have a belt representing something that was destined to fail. Yes, it was damaged goods from day one. Because this is my fake ECW WWE experience. First episode, very excited. I see Kelly. I'm very happy. Then after that segment end, then then everything went downhill from there because the Kelly thing was the peak of it for me.
Oh, Paul Heyman does know how to book women. Mm-hmm. Look, here's my thing. I think that it could have been that they shouldn't have called it ECW, and they could have legitimately made it a decent third brand.
I don't think so. And they suffered. And one of the great things about TNA,
you want to know when the WWE ECW was the best? Towards the end, when the Jack Swagger Christian era, before the Ezekiel Jackson.
There we go.
Right before that, but really,
what
is what we're missing on Raw right now? The last line.
What? Becky got suspended? Well, she's hurt.
Is she really?
Yeah. Her and Seth got minor injuries. It's not like a big deal.
All right. But that was entertaining. The Christian title matches against guys like Zack Ryder, Yoshitatsu, a couple other of those guys.
My thing is there are several key people who could have been, and I hear you, but there were several guys who could have been the foundation of that. Your Evan Bournes, and this. If it was a brand of like Paul London's Evan Bournes, John Morrison, CM Punk's, if you put all these guys, maybe if you caught them in time, maybe even Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston, these could have been the centerpieces of that brand. But every time they gained a little bit of momentum, they took it back. They never stayed on it for longer than a hot minute. And what I'm describing to you right now is saying these guys, that would have just been the precursor of NXT. That's all it would have been.
Matt Hardy too. Good point.
Matt Hardy, I didn't think should have been there, and I didn't think Christian should have been there either.
I think that if Christian got it later on, but I'm glad that Matt Hardy has a recognized world title win in WWE. That's the only. And that was the ugliest belt ever created, by the way.
My problem.
My thing is that I'm just glad that I can look back at Matt Hardy was
John Cena's belt is the ugliest belt ever created.
Which one?
The big gold one.
Yeah, that's really ugly.
My thing is Matt Hardy had no business in it for it is. And it's not as... And thank you for the 6 thumbs up, by the way. So I count that brand as you pointed out, destined to fail, and it was. They had their opportunities, but they never stuck on it. And because you have only flukes and flare-ups, I can't count it as good. Even objectively, even without the ECW name on it. Because they never stayed solid for... They never had a solid year of generally good booking. I'm not even saying you flawless for an entire year, because nobody's flawless for an entire year. But WWFE, whatever, WCW, you can point to years where they did the things right. The whole storyline with Sting until 1997 Starrcade, the whole thing with Sting for over a year was perfectly booked. They booked that perfectly.
Yeah.
When you look at a lot of the Hogan stuff in the 80s, I thought they booked it exactly the way you're supposed to. Fine. I know people are going to disagree, but
I disagree.
Yes,
true citizen.
Macho Man, 100%. Fine. How about this? Macho Man's journey from WrestleMania 3 losing the Intercontinental Championship to winning the title the following year after turning babyface was a perfect year of booking for Macho Man.
Yes, very good arc.
There are a lot.
The Austin arc. Yes, there are.
So my point is, but fake ECW never had one year of mostly, or one character of mostly solid booking.
Matt Hardy was booked well there.
Was it perfect?
I think so. He won the world title. He lost it to a monster in Mark Henry. I don't hate it.
So what you're talking about his win to his loss, because he didn't have it that long.
I don't even know if he was on ECW for a full year though.
See, I'm saying, but
his entire story arc.
But that's what I mean. But having a story arc. I mean, I want a fiscal year. That's what I'm talking about.
I have to go back and do research about this, Dave. I'm gonna find somebody.
You're gonna find someone that you're gonna try and pitch. But
John Morrison was booked really well. He came in.
Here's the thing: you're saying really well, not perfect, and I mean for an entire year.
And I want to say for an entire year. If he was there for an entire year, that's where he teamed up with The Miz. That's where he gained personality. It's where he changed his name from Johnny Nitro to John Morrison. He got his own look. He changed himself. He was booked the right way. And yeah, when he lost the ECW title to CM Punk, it was the right move.
That's fine, but I'll start you right there. The Miz and Morrison tag team, I don't know.
I thought that The Miz and Morrison were the best tag team in the WWE at that time.
I'm really hoping my memory is not right, and Paul London and Brian Kendrick were not together at that time. They weren't, right? Please tell me they weren't.
All right, then you can.
I don't know if they are. I'm asking.
If that's the case, you can sway me. But Miz and Morrison were more entertaining. The Dirt Sheet. Did you watch the Dirt Sheet on the on the network?
Yeah, but
on the website.
Here's the goofy.
They were great.
Here's the goofy thing for me is London and Kendrick were better in the ring, and that's more entertaining to me than that.
Okay, and you know what? And that's fine. They were bland and had no character, though. At least Morrison and Miz had character. The four of them could have had a great match with each other.
Okay, let's see what this is. Listen to Raven today, and hey, Raven's on this channel. Raven sounds pretty smart and funny and good.
I don't. I'm sorry, Harry. You're right. He lost the title to Swagger. It wasn't to Henry, and Swagger was the right guy at that point. Yeah, he was at that point.
I do a lot of defending of Jack Swagger, but I don't know why. I think his wife is very attractive, so he must be doing something.
I've seen his wife in person, and my God.
Yeah. Morrison were the best at it. She does a 2010. You know,
this is what I'm saying, Dave. It's not just me.
Dave, Prince Albert, what's happening? I monkey. Prince Albert.
No, that's not true.
Mrs. Morrison were a decent team. They were better off as singles wrestlers. Yeah, that's where the Woos is where I'm at. So
yeah, but
it's not just me.
They wouldn't have been.
Came in nothing in ECW. Absolutely agreed.
They wouldn't have been as good as singles wrestlers if they didn't have that foundation as a tag team. It's the same thing as saying Bret Hart is a better singles wrestler. Of course he is. That doesn't take away the fact that he wouldn't have been Bret Hart if he wasn't in the Hart Foundation. They tried. He was a singles wrestler. He was going nowhere and almost left.
See, I mean, I like what you're projecting here. I like the idea of what you're saying, that being in a tag team as a learning experience. My question is, I mean, like, because I'm loaded is what did Bret gain from being with the Anvil that he wouldn't have gotten if he, other than just being related to the Anvil through marriage? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think you get that anyway.
The recognition of being that good of a worker. By putting him with a powerhouse, they complemented each other, and it gave him a spot on the card. As instead of just being you think he would have been better off as a cowboy?
See, no, I hear what you're saying, and no, I don't think he would have been better off a cowboy. But my point is, being like one of Stu's Prize kids, I think he was going to get somewhere anyway. Like, I just think that happens no matter what.
I don't know, because where did all of his brothers, with the exception of Owen, go to?
No, but Bret was easily.
Yes, agreed. Bret and Owen were the best too.
That's my point.
But it's not that their other ones were that far behind,
No.
and they carried Stampede before Bret got there, and if Vince wanted him, he would have taken them. I get the fact,
and I get what you're saying from the tag team goal, but I just kind of think of it in any way, and I just don't think that Bret learned a lot from being with Andrew. I like the Hart Foundation a lot, but I don't know about it as a learning curve. And back onto the Miz and Morrison, it's the same thing. I don't know that they learned a lot from being with each other. Morrison, I think
no, but it got them enough recognition, and that's the thing. Bret wouldn't have been on TV as much if he didn't team with the Anvil. Which means the fans wouldn't have seen him as much, which means he wouldn't have gotten that big of a push.
My thing is,
same thing as Miz and Morrison.
The thing about Morrison is Eminem. He was already had the exposure as a tag team wrestler. We know that already. It wasn't anything new for him.
And it
didn't give him anything more.
That's fine, but after that run with him and Miz, that's when they finally broke him off into being a singles wrestler.
I don't think he gained anything from it that he didn't gain from Eminem. Like, your argument that you want to make sounds perfect for me for, like, Team Hell No for Kane and Daniel Bryan, because I think that kind of helped Daniel Bryan showcase a little more personality. I think they gave him something to do when they didn't know what to do with him. So, like, what you're saying, I feel is true for, like, a team like that, but I don't think it's true for Miz and Morrison.
I think it's almost the same for both of them. What did they have going on at that point?
Here's the other thing. But Kane is I know Daniel Bryan too, but Kane...
And I am not at all saying that Anvil carried Bret. Not even in the slightest. That's not even...
No, and I don't think
not at all.
But here's my thing. But my thing is, Kane had a more of a legendary status, so I think there's that, where Miz did not have that.
No, I agree with that.
And I know I'm not saying that he did. But, and the other thing is, like, the Miz was a problem child at the time in the locker room.
Yeah, I think that
I feel that hurt him being associated in the presence of his company.
I actually think it was beneficial for the Miz. I think that
I'll give you.
I think it was initially maybe Morrison being associated with him probably wasn't the best for Morrison backstage, but I think that it
because there's A, that, and B, Morrison already had a reputation of being a pushover and a bit of a wimp in real life.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether he is or not. My point of the matter is that he had a reputation already for being a pushover and a wimp, and then you partner up with some guy who's a notorious problem backstage. And it's like none of this is doing him any backstage cred, and I think it kind of explains why his career went it did in the WWE specifically. If you want to talk about his work outside, is what you're saying, is where this all came from, but I think it hurt him more than anything else.
Maybe. Wait.
Miz got feud with Cena. That's true. Hey, Jesus. I think maybe Jim helped Brett more comfortable in front of the camera.
I think Jimmy Hart did that more than Jim Neidhart. Yeah. Did you hear that the three of them are going into the Hall of Fame this year?
Cool.
They're going to introduce them as a trio. And they said the only thing that's probably holding it up, that it's not the entire Hart Foundation, meaning Bulldog and Pillman, is the Owen thing. Which I'm not mad at, specifically just with the fact that if the Bulldog goes in, he deserves to go in as a singles wrestler before he goes in as a part of the Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, Bulldog is so criminally
underrated. I don't want to... Well, that's
Bulldog is so criminally underrated, it's not even funny.
But the whole legal reasons with the whole...
No, I hate that.
I'm staying out of it.
I hate it.
I don't agree... But it's not my call, and I understand.
My thing is that there's a very easy way to rectify that. I don't want you to profit off of my husband. Okay, so every dollar we make that comes from Owen, we'll donate it to the Owen Hart Foundation. Bam! Done. There's no profit now. Over! And how much are they really going to make? Are they going to release an Owen Hart Hall of Fame shirt? That's it.
No, but again, we talked about this in terms of money draw. It's hard to get every single... It's hard to calculate every dollar amount, because the reality is... Are there going to be people tuning in?
The dollar amount, and then make a sizable donation every year. I mean, come on. There's ways around it.
Look, I get you, but that's the thing. In terms of his widow, you really want to find a way around it, or you do want to just respect her wishes and shut up?
I want to find a way around it because he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
And I give you that. But here's my other issue. Hall of Fame means nothing to me. Why? Because of Drew Carey. Why? Because of Pete Rose.
Look, that is a celebrity wing.
It became a celebrity wing. It didn't start out that way.
I believe it did. Well, who was the first one?
I don't remember, but it's been a while.
Because I always remember that thing. It was this celebrity wing.
And either way, they made a joke out of it. And
they did forget Dangerous Danny Davis, True Sinister. I agree.
And there have been a lot of guys in there who had nothing to do with WWE. I've talked about this in the live stream before when people say, or trying to say Sting doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. I'm like, yeah, no, Sting does not belong in the Hall of Fame.
Discussion last week.
Yeah, so that's the thing. There's too much about the WWE Hall of Fame that it's been tarnished, so it means nothing to me. I'm not disrespecting any of these guys. I'm a big Sting fan. I'm just saying he doesn't belong in WWE, specifically Hall of Fame. Does he belong in TNA Hall of Fame? Yes. WCW Hall of Fame? Yes. And he's in both. But my thing is, at least I think he's in the TNA Hall of Fame. He is, right?
Who? Sting?
Yeah.
I think so.
But my point is, it's been tarnished so much that when you want to tell me that, hey, this guy's not in or that guy's not in, it's not fair. Well, it is and it's not because it.
All right.
And the I'm going to answer. Also is ridiculous to me because if you want to put.
William the Refrigerator Perry, according to HA 2000, was the first one.
Okay. If you want to put. Now, here's the thing. If you want to tell me you put LT. If you want to take a celebrity like Tyson or LT. Or
even William the Refrigerator Perry.
No, I was going to say, or Mr. T, LT. You want to put these guys in, or Tyson? Sure, they worked in a storyline. They cultivated an angle that came up. Drew Carey does not belong in the Hall. He was in one damn Rumble and got eliminated in 2 seconds. So even by a celebrity wing status,
he lasted longer than I can name like 5 guys.
Don't get me started. Do not get me started on that. Do not get me started on it. But that's my thing. It was not a storyline. It was a throwaway angle. Fine, he made appearances later, but it was not. It was incorporated in anything. The crowd had a dumb silence as soon as he came out, like a surprise entrance. They're like, "What? What does that dude look like?"
They chanted for him. I was just watching this before. They literally were chanting for him.
There was not a pop when he first came out.
It wasn't a huge pop, no, but they were chanting for
him.
No,
they were trying to figure out exactly what I was trying to say. They were trying to figure out what just happened. Because no one saw it coming.
There was a backstage segment early on. That guy played before. Tiger Ali Singh either had to choose Mosh or D'Lo Brown to be in the Hall of Fame, in the Royal Rumble, and Vince came in the back and said that Drew Carey was taking his place. They knew that Drew Carey was in the Rumble.
Did they pop for that?
I think anybody would have just rather have Tiger Ali Singh not on their TV screen.
Well, anyway, the point that all right, I don't. Now you're making me choose between Tiger Ali Singh and Drew Carey, and I don't. But all I'm trying to say is it was not part. He did not put the time in. Like
I understand that. I understand that.
Even Arnold, to a degree, you could even make the case for it. Put in a little more effort than Drew Carey.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
That's my thing.
They want to do a celebrity.
Fine.
They want to do a celebrity every year. They're going to start pulling for.
And here's the thing. Pete Rose, I get it because he can't get in the Baseball Hall of Fame, so I kind of get the wink and the nod to that.
Yeah.
And the dude showed up for how many years getting power-driven by tombstone by Kane. So it's not like I can't say the guy didn't put in his work. Yeah, the guy put in his work. Where Drew Carey, on the other hand, just showed up one day, collects a check, and then maybe a few sporadic appearances. Cornette, that's another one. I want Cornette in the Hall of Fame too.
He deserves it. He deserves it.
Yeah, but I don't think he cares.
I don't think he does either. He did say he was very honored to get asked to induct.
Because he said that's the only way he'd show up because he thinks they belonged in there.
And I agree. Can I change? I want to change the subject real quick, but unless what?
Well, I figured you had something to say about that. But you want to change the subject? Okay, we don't have to talk about that. But I just kind of figured you might want to throw.
I don't know. I can't give a yes or no answer to that.
My only thing is, if anyone says yes to the idea, just so you know what we read, if anyone says yes to the idea that Vince Russo belongs in the Hall of Fame, I have to say, you got to include Ed Ferrara too, because how come nobody sees?
Yeah, I agree.
Why does everyone separate the two?
I agree. Even when they went to WCW, they went to WCW
together, and yet everyone's like Vince Russo.
Yeah,
it's like,
Vince Russo booking, even though Ed Ferrara was walking around calling himself Oklahoma.
Oh, that was awful.
I mean, that's even if Russo booked that, Ed Ferrara did it. So you can't. All the blame can't always go on Russo.
Why was he not in the Rumble this year? I was told he's working
hurt
on a movie. Okay, so
or he was working on a movie.
Michaels having
yes. Okay.
So title.
No.
After Crown Jewel event.
No.
What did you want to change the subject?
All right. Can we, and just as a group, because I noticed this come up a couple of times, and I wore this shirt for a reason to actually talk about this. Can everybody please stop saying so-and-so deserves to be in AEW? I'm throwing this out there. I love Cody. I wish AEW nothing but the most success in the world.
I did not hear that, Harry.
I love that Chris Jericho is involved in it. Chris Jericho is my favorite wrestler of all time. They haven't run one show yet. We haven't seen what they've done. We don't know what their show is going to look like. We don't know how long they're going to last. To say that somebody belongs in AEW, the last person somebody said it was Ziggler, is saying somebody deserves to leave their cushy job that maybe they're a little underappreciated, but they're making a really good amount of money to go somewhere where they have no idea what their future is going to be in 3 years. I'm just throwing it out there. I love the idea of AEW.
But that's the thing. That's exactly.
I love the concept.
Now look, I'm the first one saying that there's everybody and their mother now is supposed to be AEW guy. Which if
they're treated bad in WWE, they should go to AEW. That's what everybody's been saying.
But there are definitely.
All In doesn't count. It wasn't an AEW run show, Harry. All In does not count.
Kind of counts.
It doesn't.
It kind of does.
It doesn't.
It was the proto.
Yeah, okay. It was the prototype. I get it, but it still wasn't an AEW show. No. Thank you, Woos. Appreciate that.
What did we say?
He said he agrees with me.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but there's a lot of evidence. Like, people are definitely working off of the ideas here. They are working off the idea that the alleged pay scale is 100% accurate, that they're going to be being paid competitively to WWE, and if not better. And is that an assumption? Yes. But you can't work off of the assumption. It is something to work off of.
Sure.
Dean, I'll be the first one to say, if Dean is indeed leaving, I don't want him in AEW. Would it be nice to see Jon Moxley return? Sure. If he is allegedly against the hokey stuff, can I blame him for leaving? No. But I mean, you could have let it, linger for a minute. Maybe they would have changed their mind after a minute. It's a bit of an overreaction.
Here's my thing about the Dean thing. I get that since he came back, the stupid thing with the shot in the ass, notwithstanding,
right.
He wasn't really booked that hokey.
Nah, the gas mask stuff, it was stupid.
I mean, a little bit, but it was still him being a heel. And he could have made that work. He did make it work.
He tried as good as he can, but it still wasn't what I understand him not.
I get it. It's not exactly what he wanted.
I'm not saying it's Stardust bad, but
exactly. My thing is that I don't think that Ambrose was ever booked hokier than the next guy. I think everybody's been through that.
Yeah, well, he doesn't like it, and that's the thing. And I get Jon Moxley not liking it,
and that's fine. But what are you gonna do? And here's my big thing. This is my big thing about AEW, and I've been hearing about this all the time. You know they have no writers, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna be a really good idea to have the inmates run the asylum. Come do whatever you want. Wait till that guy sits there and goes, I should be in the main event then. I should be in the main event. No, I should be in the main event. Well, you're letting me run my own character. My character's catching steam. I should be in the main event. I should be heavyweight champion. You've had 3 matches. Doesn't make a difference. Everybody's reacting. They're reacting to everybody. They're internet marks. If you walked out that curtain in AEW, you're going to get a reaction because everybody's going to want to do it.
I will throw a comic book company called Image at you.
Okay.
That's my talent. That's what I'm hoping for. And that's the thing.
Look, I'm not saying that it can't work. I'm saying,
no, I know.
I'm saying that their fundamental ideology is a really good thing to appeal to a mass amount of this internet wrestling audience. But will that be sustainable for more than... And my number's been this, and this has been my number for everybody I've given this example to. 3 years.
Yeah.
Will that be sustainable for 3 years? I don't think so.
I don't know one way or the other. But I will say this. When Vince McMahon wanted to do WrestleMania the way he did, or wanted to break down wanted a national wrestling company, and all the things he said when he first started, everyone said the same thing. You know, there was a lot of people who thought the exact same thing about Vince McMahon with the WWF and all of his crazy ideas. You know, Vince McMahon just wanted to cater to a national fan base. He thought that technology was there to support it. He saw the writing on the wall. He thought it was a good opportunity. He thought, forget about the territory system on the NWA. And they're like, you want to go against the NWA? Are you crazy? That's the biggest wrestling company in the world. Everything you're going to say about AEW, everybody said about Vince. Now, sure, there have been other times people have said these exact same things about other promotions, and they've all failed. But Impact. But that's the thing. So even though that may all be well and good, it did work once. Maybe it will again, maybe it won't. I'm not saying it will or won't. I don't know.
Since is right, the Crockett did want to go national too.
Yes, he did, but Vince wasn't one to do it. And a lot of people said Vince was crazy out of his mind for wanting to do all the things he did. I'm not trying to say Vince was the first. WrestleMania, we know, is not the first supercard event. Wrestling shows have been doing major supercard events forever. I'm not saying he's the first, but there was a specific kind of way Vince McMahon wanted to do things. And that specific thing was something that a lot of people thought he was out of his mind for wanting to try.
Please, I would love to take that bet on you. Please bet me your entire paycheck that Kenny Omega signed with WWE. I don't think there's a shot in hell.
You should also probably find out how much his paycheck is.
I don't care if it's 37 cents. At this point, I'd be 37 cents richer. Look, Mark Strike, what do you mean that that shock factor's out the window? What is? I'm just want to understand what you mean by that. I'm not saying that. I'm actually just confused. Look, and Woos, I agree that wrestlers should be able to control their own promos. The best way that give a guy bullet points and then, yes, let him go. Yes, I completely agree that's the right way to go. The way the WWE is being booked right now is not the right way to do it. I 100% agree with that. I'm not saying that that's the, whatever. All I'm saying is that if you make $200 before taxes. Well, I will take it after taxes.
I realize now the problem with doing this is doing the show from my office is that I want to do I keep getting up to do other things. I know. So that's wrong. But anyway, here's the thing. Okay, I hear what you're trying to say, but I'll tell you, I have no basis for this. I don't think that I know any insider thing or anything, but I really do feel like there's a chance this might be very much less wrestling storyline focused.
I think it's going.
But I mean, way less than anyone thinks.
And then if that's the case, man, am I not going to enjoy this? Because here's my big thing. Everybody talks about the success that they feel like AEW is going to have. We keep talking about the fact of, well, if they went to a more traditional wrestling, route like New Japan is struggling to sell tickets in the United States. This is New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Well, lack of visas kind of doesn't help.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that. I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is that this is going to AEW is New Japan Pro Wrestling US. It's basically what it's going to be. That's the way they're presenting it.
Luthez, not Buddy Rogers, but this is a perfect example and a segue because that's the thing. NWA felt that Luthez was more of the wrestling champion, where WWE's predecessors, Capital Wrestling Corporation, felt that, hey, you got this guy right here, Buddy Rogers, he's a star. Maybe he's not as good of a wrestler as Luthez, but he's a star. So
agreed, yeah.
I just like that.
You did a good job. Mark Strike, I completely agree. AEW needs larger-than-life characters. And Saul, I'm not saying that I hate AEW. I want nothing but this more than anything. I want nothing but more of success. I'm wearing a Cody shirt. I love is NXT and New Japan Pro Wrestling USA. No, because NXT has characters, and they have storylines.
I don't know why that's blocked out.
And they built. I don't know either. I would like to see the New Japan Pro Wrestling in America. Well, you will when AEW launches, because that's basically what it is. Here's my big thing. I'm not saying that I dislike anything to do with AEW. All I'm saying is that
again, if you hate the fans for ruining it for you.
Yeah, that's first of all, that's the biggest thing.
Just say it. Just blame them.
My thing is that I just don't know how long I can sit there and watch a show where I have a feeling that it's going to be a lot of the same things over and over again. We're going to get Dave Meltzer 5-star matches in match 1, Dave Meltzer 5-star match in match 2, Dave Meltzer 5-star match in match 3, and then by the time match 4, match 5, match 6...
5 stars? That's so 2015, bro.
Well, no, because the 7-star match is supposed to be in the main event. But by that time, everybody's going to be so burned out by seeing everything, almost like what the old knock on the original ECW was. We saw so much of this, this hitting people with pots and pans stuff. Where's the main event going to get to? They just happen to have the, Heyman to restructure everything to make it so things weren't so crazy beforehand.
But here's the thing: I don't think they're going to get on a specific train and just keep going in that direction. I think there is going to be course correcting. I think they're going to right the ship as time goes on. And maybe this works, maybe it doesn't. I think it's, but my also thing is, I have a big belief in Cody, and I do think he has a very good and smart head on the show.
No, I agree. And so I absolutely do agree. And with Jericho being there too, I completely think that
And I'm going to go out on a limb and also make the assumption that I do think that they may eventually get something in a creative stance, but not the way we're used to in WWE. But I would not be surprised if once JR's contract runs out, he shows up. I would not be surprised. And he gets involved in certain ways, maybe not creative as in writing, but has an input on the direction and writing the ship and structuring the show.
I hope that's the case.
So that's the thing. I think a lot of their holdouts they're not talking about. It's just because they can't talk about it. But they have certain players that they have in mind. And again, this is all speculation. And that speculation, I know, is what drives guys like you crazy, is that there's a lot of assumptions going on here for something that hasn't happened yet. But that is called optimism. And that's the important part.
And I want to be optimistic. And optimism is great. What's not great is the fact that you have Chris Jericho and Cody Rhodes. Am I allowed to say Rhodes? I don't know if I'm allowed to say Rhodes. Going out now, on a stage, every time they're being asked and they're saying, "Are you going to be competition in WWE?" No, we're going to be an alternative.
Well, that's smart. The strategy the XFL should have done the first time around.
Agreed, and that's what I'm saying. If we all take it as that, that's fine. But everybody who's sitting there, see, again, you're saying I have no optimism. Again, wrestling fans just picking and choosing what they want to hear out of something. I keep saying I want them to be successful.
But you're not giving any reasons why. I think that's the thing.
Because I think...
say it, but, back it up with, an example.
All right, fine.
Like a demonstration of your optimism.
Fine. What I want out of it is the idea that I can go to another promotion and watch something that is counterculture and completely different to what the WWE product is putting out. Because TNA has long... tried to be WWE's little brother, and it hasn't worked. And I think that watching AEW, and don't get me wrong, I am going to be watching AEW from the start, from show 1 on. I want AEW to succeed, and I think they can if they don't get their expectations too high. But yes, I do want them to be successful. What, I'm a WWE mark?
Yeah, I'm just...
Whatever, man. And again, I don't hate pro wrestling. My favorite wrestlers in WWE are Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. This is everybody's going to sit there and talk, talk shit about all that kind of stuff, and that's not the case. What the case is that you guys all want to hear what you want to hear. I love the fact that I can sit there and stand up for what the WWE used to be during the Attitude Era, during the Ruthless Aggression Era, when they mixed both really solid in-ring work and they mixed good storylines in.
Yeah.
Together. That's what I'd like. And I don't know if AEW is going to give us that.
But here, for me, I do like that too. That is my ideal form of wrestling. However, I've said it over and over again. Different companies have different tastes to it. So, like, if this is, especially as you pointed out, an alternative, if this is a complete alternative and it's just very different than anything we've come to expect or anything like that, and its own thing, it may take an adjustment period, but if I discover, hey, this is its own thing, just take it for what it is, it might be. Maybe there's going to be no storyline. Maybe it'll just be match, and that's it. And maybe that's weird and jarring, and maybe some people are going to hate that. But
right, I'm going to say that that's probably not something that I'm going to really like. But my thing is that if that's going to be the case,
he did go into he did go to WCW in the 90s. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he did. He had a big feud with Rick Rude.
Forget about Austin.
And Austin too, but I like his feud with Rick Rude.
I like his feud with Austin more.
All right.
Anyway,
AEW WWE, what WWE was the WCW. Vince will have all the roles reversed on it, and he knows it. Why do you think he sold some of his shares in order to get money to reboot the XFL? Because he wanted money to reboot the XFL. That has nothing to do with AEW.
What I miss? AEW.
And look,
you keep talking.
And you want to talk about, again, this is your misguided misconceptions of what you think is going to happen. AEW will never put WWE out of business. I don't care what anybody says. There's 0% chance of that.
Again, and it's what I said earlier in the show. If we all know that competition makes better business, how could they put them out of business? You can't have it. So, and I'm not one of those people who thinks that the internet is just one collective whole. So I understand that there are different people. But some people are saying it's going to put them out of business. But then there are other fans who historically, citing precedent, remember a time when the competition
and that's what I want.
Made business better. So if you think they're going to put them out of business, remember WCW helped them. Yeah, fine. WW had a low point, but they rebounded, and they always do.
Yep.
And they always will. And being a publicly traded company also gives them a much bigger cushion, a much bigger safety net. And WWE now is worth so much more than they were back in 1996. So it's not going to happen. It's not even close to happen. And I don't think AEW wants to put them out of business either. I think the competition is going to help drive them up too. They don't want to put WWE out of business. And it's also the same thing that I get.
Jericho, Cody, they both have an enormous amount of respect. These are the two of the guys who are, the guys who really put their heads together to found this. A lot of this was discussed on the cruise. Jericho gave them a lot of information about different things. Cody's been in the WWE. They have a lot of respect for the WWE.
The only way WWE is going out of business is by its own hand, and I think that's fair. If WWE goes out of business, it's because of something they did, not something else.
Exactly.
I think that's fair. The thing I'm worried about and I will say worried if WWE goes out of business. Thank you, King Van, for WWE business, and people don't want to necessarily talk about this. Is a lot of people are looking forward to Triple H taking over. I'm not. Because if you look at companies, not just wrestling companies, but companies in general, when there's a changing of a guard from one generation to another, and I know Vince took it on from his father, so that was a difference of opinion, but this current entity right now, WWE, as far as I'm concerned, WWF and WWE are a completely separate product and virtually a separate company from WWF and Capital Wrestling Corporation.
Agreed.
I understand the lineage is the same, but
they may as well not be.
Yeah, totally different entity because of the national and then global capacity. But whenever a company that's very successful gets the reins handed down, sometimes it works out, but there's a lot of times where it doesn't, where just the changing of the guard by itself. But yeah, of course, AAA survived it multiple times. Yeah, you could even make the argument that they did better at certain points than others. So yeah, I'm not trying to say it's always, but it is something to be a concern about. So if you're a WWE fan and you're not looking for it to go out of business, maybe Triple H, I'm not saying that Triple H and Stephanie definitely will put it out. Hopefully it goes to Shane. But I am saying it is something to worry about, is all I'm trying to point out.
Here's my thing. We don't want I don't wish for anybody to lose their jobs. When WCW went out of business, I was upset because I put a lot of people out of work. Not just the guys in front of the camera, but the guys behind the camera, the guys behind the scenes. A lot of people didn't wind up, working, in the wrestling business after WCW went out of business, and that's a criminal shame. My big thing is that I don't want to see either of these companies go out. I would love there to be a time where WWE and the AEW will both thrive. TNA's done it for a long time. I don't know how they're still surviving, but Impact is still around, and that's great. I mean, I don't understand why everybody hates on the idea that Impact. They're like, oh, we want Impact to go out of business. Why? Because you wanted to see those Impact guys go to WWE?
No, because they want to see the library go on the network.
Oh, that's it. They're such big fans of old school TNA that they can't watch the new school stuff.
Right.
And that's look. If that's the case, that's fine. Except the fact that the WWE can't keep hiring all of these guys, which means people are going to wind up, in
AEW.
Could be in AEW.
And see, we got to go back to that too, because as I said before, I don't want Dean doesn't fit what I believe. And here's the thing: it's about expectations, because you hear this a lot when it comes to talking about sequels. That when a movie is finished and people are done watching, they instantaneously can't help it. They start writing a sequel in their head. And when you take a long time on that sequel, like in Star Wars between the prequels and the real movies, you build it up so much that there's no way this prequel could ever live up to your expectations in your head. AEW, but people can't help it. And there's nothing wrong with it.
Episode 1.
Yeah, I like Darth Maul though.
No, Darth Maul was cool.
But that's the thing, and I like the Liam Neesons. But the thing is, people are building up these expectations of AEW, and in a way that's good because it'll give AEW an idea to know what people want. But it's also bad if they can't live up to it.
Yeah.
So, in my head though, AEW is going to represent the all-in kind of thing. Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley does fit that role, but I don't want Dean in there because I don't think he really fits that role. Jericho, because I feel he's like a legendary. He's a legend. He's going to be more like a father figure to it.
Yeah,
I can take that and say cool. But Brock Lesnar, I said it before, I'll say it again. Brock Lesnar signs with AEW. I will not watch AEW. I am done. I will not give it a chance. I am done. I hate Brock Lesnar. I'm sick of Brock Lesnar, and I will become the biggest WWE Ultra fanboy on the planet. Like, that's right, WWE is so much better than every promotion because they don't have Brock Lesnar. And then people point out they had Brock Lesnar like 2 years ago. Shut up! All I care about is they don't have Brock Lesnar now. So AEW signs, I don't care if Jericho just wants one match where he destroys Brock. I'm done. Because AEW can't do that to me. They have their option. They can do whatever they want. But I hate Brock Lesnar that much. It's like if they sign Brock Lesnar, that's on the same par if they sign Shawn Michaels.
My thing is that I don't mind Brock still being in the WWE as long as he doesn't hold the title ever again. If he wants to come in and make his appearances and have, these, quote-unquote dream matches, he puts on matches like he did against Bryan and Balor and Styles, I'm okay with that. But don't put a world title on him. Don't put him in a championship match. If you want him to face somebody, great. But
commodity. So, my Wednesday episode talks about that commodity aspect. But anyway, my thing about the Daniel Bryan, AJ, and Finn Balor match. All three were good. Yes. But I do have a very significant problem that it's AJ and Daniel Bryan were very much the same match. Finn was not. But I like the Finn. But here's the thing. I don't like the Finn match more. The storytelling was better in the AJ and Daniel Bryan match. Yeah, but I don't like the idea that both of them needed something to derail Brock. Because Brock is this mythic legend that only if something happens, if only he screws up in some way, can Daniel Bryan or AJ have a chance against him. I was surprised by Finn because Finn just took it to him. I didn't expect that. Finn just straight up took it to him. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got to go. All right. Just throwing this out there. I'm going to do a live stream on Facebook.com/ the Slam Sessions Podcast Network about AEW. So keep your eyes out for that. And if you haven't, liked or subscribed, go and do that. And I'll also make an announcement about the fact that I'm going to throw it out here a little bit. I'm probably going to start up a YouTube channel soon. So that's cool. So, yeah, a lot of big things coming. So like and subscribe so you hear all that. And then if you guys, when you guys are done with Dave, tune over to mixlr.com --Facebook.
Yeah, this is more annoying, that is for sure.
Yeah, I know. /Messin-Radio.
I'm not even sure if that's it.
That might be it. But if you like football and you want to talk about the
that thing that happened yesterday,
yeah,
I think some people
the big
care
game,
about.
yeah. You can even download the app and do exactly what you're doing.
Woo! Thank you for the super chat. You the man.
You can
$2. So generous.
He's gonna talk about that a little bit more. I know you guys won't miss me because you all hate me, and that's fine. I'm not a big fan of all of you guys.
He's not an optimist.
But you guys can actually just do exactly what you're doing and type in if you download the app. So yeah, that's that. See you guys later. Have fun, Dave.
Yeah, I'll just keep going for a couple minutes just while you get settled. Thanks for being on the show, Albert, and especially thank you to the Woos.
I'm sure that everybody doesn't like it so much, but that's cool.
Is Brock? If Brock is in AEW, I ride with Dave. Yeah, I'm so sick and tired of him. I just can't take it. Okay, Albert did go face? Maybe. Harry likes Albert. Oh, Albert's going. Oh, well, too bad. Okay, so, cool. All right, thank you for the thumbs up. We're up to 13. You guys are awesome. Yeah, tomorrow, totally plan on being on the comic book channel. So, comic book live stream, draw along session. Very much looking forward to that. I know it's been a while. Definitely want to get that going. But Dave, what if Brock booked differently? Say he wrestles like no, I don't care. I'm done. I don't want any Brock Lesnar at all. No, done. I don't blame him for taking a paycheck, but no, I want nothing to do with Brock Lesnar at all ever again. He has been because I mean I've said it this way like when it comes to the I don't talk about it much, but the WrestleMania 30. And I know it's not his fault, and I don't even put the blame solely on him. But the thing about it is, I look at Brock Lesnar, and I know I might be being a little over dramatic right now, but I look. Oh, thank you so much, True Sinister. I look at a lot of things in wrestling, and I know it's wrestling, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm being too dramatic, but I look at all the things that has been taken away from me in the WWE, and one man is been the key of it several times over, and that's Brock Lesnar. Okay, between WrestleMania 30, between all the Undertaker, all this entire feud with the Undertaker after that point, the Universal Championship, which I was excited for, when Finn won it, and I know there's other people too, but that his match with Dean Ambrose was garbage. I just look at all these opportunities for me to be happy in wrestling, and I look at why, and I look at how many of them were taken away or were wrong, or I missed, and Brock Lesnar is at the center of it. Brock Lesnar has become the epitome of right now of somebody whose involvement is someone who makes me unhappy with WWE. Crown Jewel, ruining of Braun Strowman. Again, I know he's not the only one, and I know a lot of these things aren't even his decisions, they're booking decisions, but I look at these things, and again, one man is constantly at the center of it. And so, by association alone, Brock Lesnar doesn't work for me. Social Injustice Warrior, what's up? Oh, yeah, he left. Wrestlers need to wrestle. Brock doesn't expect me to. Yeah. Sorry, MixLR. Yeah. If Austin was faced after WrestleMania 17, what would WWE do with them? I have several ideas, but, I personally wouldn't mind Brock in AEW. Depends on his portrayal. Yeah, Lesnar is Cena. I guess so. He's killing wrestling. That's the thing, yeah. And again, I know it's not all necessarily his fault. I just can't help it. It's guilt by association. I've just had enough of seeing him. I haven't liked Brock Lesnar since he left, became Viking football. Yeah. Same here. Dave Brock needs to go away. Yeah. And that's the other thing. He loved the business so much, or they gave him the world, and then he leaves to become a football player because he was unhappy. Rumor has it was because he didn't want a job to the Undertaker's because he felt he had nowhere else to go but down. Well, you know what? I'm sorry. You're just too much of a baby. You really are. Yeah, send Brock to the XFL. Do that. Brock could have been loved if he would have been more back to the business. Or if he gave back to the fans. Or if he gave you any indication whatsoever that he cared about you as a fan. Or me as a fan. Any of us. Has he? His character is not supposed to get him that way. But did he? Because if he cared about the fans. If he cared about... But here's the thing. Outside, does he care about the fans? Because there are rumors or plan matches that he's denied us. Or his not being around. Or he knows he's ruining the championship by never being around. And did they do anything about that? No. He could always refuse it. He could have said no. He doesn't want that Universal title on the second run. Or hey, take it off him. He put his input in when he said he wanted to lose to Goldberg. But, there's that. there are other opportunities beyond that, because there have been several wrestlers who were offered the opportunity to end the streak, and a lot of them turned it down. They turned it down, and they did it out of respect to The Undertaker. Where's Brock's respect? And even if you didn't have respect for The Undertaker, what about the fans who loved it? Because this is something they loved, and you took it away. It wasn't someone else's idea. Could The Undertaker have said no? Sure, all these things are true. But you know what? So could he. And I can't stop that enough. Will you hate Brock more than Shawn Michaels because they... Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. But that's impossible because... And again, I pointed out. So the thing is, if Brock... The reason why I'm not looking forward to Brock is he, just by injection alone, will end up ruining something else I'm looking forward to in wrestling. It'd be AEW. Just his existence is there. Because he's going to get a main event. He's going to get a top spot. Or he's going to get a spot late in the card. Something. Just to derail from what wrestling's supposed to be. I like a lot of moves in AEW, or I'm expecting a lot of a specific type of wrestling, something Brock doesn't do. And even at his best, he doesn't do it to the levels that I'm expecting for AEW. But even furthermore than that, I talk about it, I know I get asked this all the time, and I know I've answered it a bunch of times, but one of my biggest gripes with Shawn Michaels is that him and the Clique and their specific brand of politicking, you want to say everyone politics? Okay, fine. But there's a specific level of politicking that the Clique did that was bad for the WWF specifically. A company that I really had a lot of enjoyment as a child, from, as far back, almost as far back as I could remember, WWF. The company went in the crapper and almost dissolved. And you can blame it on several other people. You could say it's because of Hogan. Well, hey, didn't happen until Shawn Michaels got the belt. Did WWF officially become the #2 company? Something that only happened that to one time and never happened since. I believe that as a wrestler, you need to suck it up sometimes and realize you are not the guy. You need to suck it up and realize that you are bad for the business, you are bad for the company, you are bad for the locker room, and therefore all of that. Not only if you don't get, not even, forget about yourself. You should care about the locker room and the rest of the boys, that if you put this company out of business, it's going to be a problem for the rest of them. And also, what about the fans? If you are a wrestling fan, you should care about all the wrestling fans. And if you're in the business, you should care about what the fans want. And take that step back and realize that sometimes. Is it hard to walk away from a lot of money in the title? Absolutely, I get it. But there have been plenty of times where wrestlers have done that because they knew it was the right thing to do. And that's the kind of thing I appreciate. And Brock Lesnar, Shawn Michaels, aren't those guys. They have not proven that they cared about you as a fan. They have not proven that they cared about the title, and they have not proven that they cared about the locker room. All right. Dave. Thank you, Woos. Dave. Yeah. And here's the thing. The reason why I like Scott Hall the most out of the members of the Clique, unless we count Just Incredible, is that Scott Hall has mostly shown that he does think about these things. He does care about the business. He has his problems, sure, but he seems to be the one that's most open-minded to the rest of the wrestling community. I didn't mean to cut a promo. I realized I did kind of slip into one right there. What do you think about Hogan versus Shawn Michaels? It was a complete garbage mess. But guess what? Hogan's supposed to go over because... it's the same thing where people... It was the same thing like Albert earlier, talking about how Shawn Michaels losing to Chris Jericho put Jericho on a higher plateau. He was the first undisputed champion, and he beat Austin and The Rock on the first night. I mean, in one night. If you're telling me that Shawn Michaels one was a more important win than being able to say you beat The Rock and Stone Cold and became the first undisputed championship, that's just crazy talk. Hogan is on this level. You might love him, you might hate him. You may not like his wrestling, but it's undeniable. Go outside of yourself and your own personal beliefs and your own personal tastes. Look at the world of professional wrestling. You're very hard pressed to find a guy a human being who doesn't know who Hulk Hogan is. When you talk about professional wrestling, they're going to say Hulk Hogan. Fans, non-fans alike, he is one of the most recognized wrestlers ever, and probably will be forever. Shawn Michaels is not that guy. There are tons of people who have never heard of Shawn Michaels, who wouldn't know anything about him, couldn't pick him out of a lineup. And that's what we're talking about. So you have this meeting between these two. Hulk Hogan is supposed to go over. And it's not like Shawn Michaels was a young kid where it was a passing of the torch thing or putting him over kind of thing. There was no benefit. This was two old men whose careers were past their prime. This was just a show. This was just a cute little exhibition. It was a nonsense nothing match. And when those situations happened, the bigger star goes over. That's how it works. The more over guy goes over. And let's not forget, Shawn Michaels was getting booed going into that match. But Jericho lost to Triple H before Shawn. That's also that's also a bad thing. But I'm not sure what you're going with that. Yeah. Dave Woodman. I think a 10-year-old girl could make Shawn Michaels tapped out, but that's just me. Hogan, Flair, Stone Cold, Andre. Yeah. Shawn Michaels is not on the level. He's not close. There's a million guys that are more recognizable. Macho Man, way, way, way before you're ever going to say Shawn Michaels. Oh, yeah, Jericho is great. But why should Hogan go over when he wasn't? Stay by that logic, because it's completely different. Because that's a completely different story whatsoever. But I like that point, AJ Envoy. I like that you asked that question. When it's not going to stay, okay, well, let's look at WrestleMania 20. Brock and Goldberg both weren't going to stay. And it doesn't matter about the staying power because, like I said earlier, a win over Shawn Michaels at that point in his career meant nothing. Let him come and let him go. But let's put it, how about this? Sting, fine, no one knew about the Seth Rollins injury. But let's just say, hypothetically, Sting was only going to be there for one match at WrestleMania. He's supposed to go over Triple H. It's not about whether you're going to stay or not. It's about, did you reach a certain level? Did you reach a certain magnitude? Did you reach that certain pinnacle where you're supposed to win? And that's the key. That's the... Shawn wasn't... Shawn was there the next night. Just because you're a bigger star doesn't mean you automatically win. When it comes to showcase matches like that, yes, absolutely it does. It absolutely should. Sting is my example. Sting was supposed to beat Triple H. Sting had some good match. I mean, Sting. There was definitely work that Sting did in TNA with Angle and AJ that I think you got to say that you got to put over there. See, Eric Turner. I see what you mean, Dave, but in the time soon like it was established, I think you couldn't go wrong with either over just because at that point it didn't really hurt either of them. Exactly. Well, see, no, but that's the thing. It's not about hurting them because this was two old men past their primes. This was an exhibition. This was just a showcase match. It wasn't about building a career. It wasn't about going anything further. That's why the bigger star wins. Triple H and Shawn and Sting is the second best thing I could come up with because neither one of them is building a dynasty. This isn't about protecting either legacy at this point in time. This is just about both guys having a little show match. We finally get to see Sting in WWE. And because of that big deal, Sting is supposed to win. Regardless if he comes back or not. It was Sting's idea to lose because he never planned to wrestle again after that, and he felt go on your back. I highly question that philosophy. I have a video talking about how I don't believe in it. And several wrestlers who did not go out on their back. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He wins. Even if Undertaker is okay with the streak ending, it doesn't matter. Undertaker still should have the streak intact. Because again, step outside of yourself and one individual idea. Because that's the first I'm hearing about this Sting thing. And even if it's so, I don't care. Too bad. How many Sting fans were eager to finally see Sting set foot in a WWE ring? How many fans were wanting to see Sting have a WrestleMania moment? No one needed Triple H to have that win. Wouldn't make anyone feel better. It wouldn't make anyone feel good. But if Sting won, you would have a lot more happy wrestling fans than Triple H winning. That's my point. Make a bigger amount of happy. More happy people. It's not hard. Make people happy. Wrestling has the ability to do that. And when you fail it, that's a problem. Triple H beating Sting, I'm sure there's some people who are happy about it because there always are, but that's the thing. Not a lot. All right? Now, you want to say that there were going to be people who would have been happy to see Shawn Michaels beat Hogan? Yeah, sure. But but way more Hulkamaniacs, again, because Hulk Hogan is the more readily identifiable name and the bigger star, more people were happy about Hulk Hogan winning. You might have a lot of vocal people on the internet, but the reality is more people know Hogan, more people like Hogan. Hogan is by far the bigger money draw. You side with Hulk Hogan. Thank you, Jesus. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying it's the first I ever heard of it, Arthur. Just the NWO coming out to help saying, nobody understands the NWO helping Sting. It's like, okay, King Van, thank you for being here. Dave, I'm out, man. Okay, I think I've gone. Man Sting should have won. Yes, he should have. Exhibition barely, inherently doesn't have anything on the line, not a career or anything like that. So I guess I either go over and doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. It was an exhibition. But when it comes to boxing, yeah, it's usually a tie. Agreed. But when it comes to professional wrestling, you got to pick someone, and so I would pick Hulk Hogan. And I appreciate that, Vinny Montaigne, too. And see, that's what it's about. Agreeing with someone that you disagree with. Or at least being able to respect someone's opinion, even if they don't agree with you. I wanted Sting versus Taker at Mania. Yeah, that too. And that was the other thing, too. That should have been the match. But, if Sting versus Undertaker was the match, and the Undertaker still had his streak intact, I would want Undertaker to win. Why? Because and I have a dream match episode about this. Remember that. But if we had, not specifically, but if we had the streak still on the line, then the Undertaker has to go over on Sting. Why? Because there's more people who love the streak than Sting. But there are more people happy about Sting than Triple H. Do you see how this works? Even though I caught up in Hogan on the moment when I was a kid, I was a huge mean mark. Smith for me. Oh, mean mark. This was I. I wanted Sting to come to WWE, but not around 2000. Yeah, way too late by then. Yeah, I can't say Triple H. I can't either. Taker should have beat Brock. Yep, agreed. Is Prime Taker versus Demon Balor a dream match? Not my biggest dream, but it's something I wouldn't mind. See, stylistically, here's my thing. I've never really needed the Sting versus Undertaker match, but again, because I understand so many other people want it, I would have given it to them if I was a booker. I don't need it because stylistically, I'm not sure how well they go together. It's like you can make certain comparisons between Sting and Bret, and Bret and Undertaker have gone at each other, but nothing that none of that. It's never been my favorite kind of thing. I've never said, oh yeah, Sting and Bret and Undertaker. So stylistically, I don't know. And it's the same thing with Balor and Undertaker. I don't know, even if they were both in their primes. I don't know how stylistically it works. Shawn Michaels, as was I, Henry. Yeah, a lot of people do. But okay, yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for me. Great talk. Yeah, it's been a while. I want to hang out a little bit because with the Friday streams I've been doing with Steve for a while, so it's been a while since I got a chance to talk to you guys one-on-one. Undertaker versus Buddha would be interesting. I would love it if it would make no sense, but I would love it if Muda sprays the mist in the Undertaker's eyes and he can't see, but then all of a sudden Paul Bearer raises the urn. And then the Undertaker turns around, you see his eyes roll up, and then he can see Muda again. And it just stops working on him. I think that would be amazing. It would be an amazing spot. The rest of the match could be pure filth and garbage, and I would still like it just for that spot alone. Just for that silly gimmick nonsense. Okay, guys, so, yes, thank you for being here. Thank you for the 17 thumbs up. Ooh, thank you. The Woos, thank you for your generosity again for the super chat. It does so much mean a lot to me, especially to keep this channel going, especially right now. But yes, thank you so much for being here. I very much intend to be here tomorrow on Dave Knows Comics for a live stream. Hasn't been a while. Definitely need to get some rest. Got myself getting some headache thing. But yeah, so thank you so much for being here. Really, seriously, thank you for the thumbs up, and thank you again, Woos, for the super chat. And hopefully I get to see you tomorrow. In the meantime, go check out Albert for the football show. And as always, Dave knows.